welcome back to the draft in New York as we are, well, we're 4 hours in. Miami is number 26 of the 31 teams in the first round. Could we hear the name Drew Brees here? We'll get to that in a moment. That would be intriguing. Well, we're going to go to the pick right now, and we'll see what they do, and then we'll visit with New Orleans. This could be an interesting spot. Don't know that it will be with Brees, but certainly something they could look at. Although, remember, they did sign Ray Lucas to back up Jay Fiedler, so they have two mobile quarterbacks. There wouldn't be an urgent need there. They did spend some money. So the Miami Dolphins, who won the division last year, let's remember that. They won, like New Orleans did, won their division last year, came from behind to beat the Colts before losing at Oakland. Here's their pick.
With the 26th selection, the Miami Dolphins have chosen defensive back from Wisconsin, Jamar Fletcher.
Well, you know, it's interesting. There's a guy, the Colts, their division rival, we're looking at, although the Colts trading down that many spots, can't be surprised that the Fletcher DB Wisconsin is gone. All right, let's move on to Miami. I'm not surprised they took defensive back. It's just you want to throw Brees' name out there just in case it happens. Miami, I mean, certainly defensively, has got to be pretty happy with what they have, Mort.
Well, they are. And I think that he really thought he needed that third. Even with Surtain and Sam Madison, he really felt he had to have that third back. And you'll talk about Fletcher in a little bit, how good Fletcher is, just being maybe the best, technically the best corner without the athletic skills.
You're right, Mort. I think you look at that division in the Indianapolis Colts with Peyton Manning, and Jamar Fletcher is an outstanding cover man. He's 5'9", he's 180 pounds. He doesn't have the great timed recovery speed, but you see the physical places Freddie Mitchell and Jamar Fletcher getting into it in the Sun Bowl, and here's Freddie Mitchell in the open field. Fletcher obviously makes that play here against David Terrell. You see the toughness of Fletcher, a guy who was a former option quarterback in high school. I mean, he's intercepted pass from Drew Brees, let's see, 2 different years for it. He takes the ball the distance. He's tremendous after he intercepts the pass and making you pay.
Well, you mentioned Drew Brees once again. There are Dolphin fans who are disappointed right now because they wanted the Dolphins to kind of revisit history. They got Dan Marino at 27. They wanted Brees at 26. But really, I think the Dolphins and Dave Wanstead felt that Drew Brees is really like Jay Fiedler or like Ray Lucas. There's not a whole lot of difference there, and I think that's why he passed.
And keep in mind, we have cornerbacks now 4 off the board. Fred Smoot still available.
And now, for the first time this afternoon, the once 3 times in the 90s Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys, who fell in the NFC East, they lost their first because of the Galloway trade. And so now the Cowboys picking 52 overall. Troy Aikman, the #1 pick in this draft in 1989. There he is. His retirement. Tony Banks' era begins in Dallas. And as we're about to tee up a conversation about Dallas, they have, for the second time this afternoon in the second round,
they're afraid to pick.
out.
They're afraid to pick.
Come on.
What teams that keep trading back
Tony Barry,
are afraid to pick.
Miami is the team that traded with him. Miami has selected. I frankly don't know who it is right now.
Chris Chambers, the wide receiver from Wisconsin. I've been wanting to do this all day. I've been wanting to say that all. Just take over.
You've been waiting. He's one of the Chambers brothers. Time has come to this.
Mel and I talked about this yesterday. Barry Alvarez, coach of Wisconsin, has been telling coaches that Chris Chambers is Tim Brown, whom he coached at Notre Dame. He really believes Chambers compares to Tim Brown. Obviously, some of these teams didn't agree because Tim Brown went a lot higher.
I don't think he's a consistent catching the football board. That's what Roy has to work on. But he's a big kid, 5'11 and a half, 210 pounds, long arms, can make the acrobatic catch. Remember, he missed the first 4 games this past season, stress fracture in his right foot, but a kid who operated as a backup point guard for Dick Bennett, former head coach there on the basketball team at Wisconsin. Consistency, catching the football, drops some catchable balls, and when he lays out, well, he can show some athleticism. He had a 45-inch vertical jump at the combine workout, but I'll tell you, had he been just a little more consistent, remember, the quarterback play in Wisconsin, very average.
Where I was going with this thing.
It's a conservative offense. They run the football at Ron Dane and Michael Bennett. This is a guy, had he played, say, at a Miami program with Moss and Wayne?
We talk about a quarterback going into a developmental system, taking a couple of years. Here's a classic case where somebody can go in, spot play him, give him an opportunity to play a little bit, maybe 10, 15 plays a game, let him be a part of your special teams, grow into it. He can be a real help to the Miami Dolphins.
Outstanding pick.
And he comes in with his college teammate, of course, Jamar Fletcher, to Wisconsin Badgers.